Hey guys, this is Dakota with Waldemar Design and Machine, and today I'm going to answer your most frequently asked questions. So to get started, one of the most often asked questions is, can I increase the thickness of my workpiece getting rolled if I decrease the width of it? And if so, what is the maximum capacity? So that's a great question, very common. So the quick answer is yes. You can increase the thickness of it if you decrease the width. However, there's a lot of things at play, such as yield strength of your materials. So are you rolling mild steel? Are you rolling stainless? What grade of stainless? Are you rolling titanium? What have you? Also, what is the diameter to which you are rolling? What's your end part diameter? And then also, what is the working length and base capacity of your machine? So we have a calculator online at wdmrolls.com that can help figure out some of the basics, or we can provide you with a capacity chart, or feel free to email us or call us and give us a part drawing, and we can verify that your machine will do that and not damage the rolls. But as one common rule of thumb we like to use is tell people that don't exceed the capacity that your machine will roll at 1/3 the working length. So if you have a 4-foot or 48-inch long machine, don't exceed what it will roll at 16 inches wide. So if it'll roll, 1/4 inch at 16 inches wide, only roll 1/4 inch at 2 inches wide, even though it would roll it at 1/2 inch if it's only 2 inches wide. But then you can risk damaging the rolls or denting them. What does it mean to crown the rolls of a plate bending machine? So crowning in the rolls is what we do for deflection. So it's a slight barrel shape in the rolls where they're thicker in the middle and taper towards the ends. And that, whenever you stick in a piece of metal, depending on the thickness and the yield strength of the metal, it's going to put stress on the rolls and it's going to cause them to deflect or want to spread apart. And it's very important to have an even pinch pressure the whole way across your roll, so that it's pinching your material evenly. So we crown the rolls to match the amount of deflection that's going to occur, so you get a nice even pinch. So yeah, you can also use some shims and stuff to change the crown of it, but that's basically what a crown is. What crown should I have put in my rolls? So now this is a great follow-up question, and a lot of times we crown it for the sweet spot of a customer's material. So if they know they're primarily rolling 1/4 inch mild steel or 3/16 stainless, we crown for the material they're rolling. And however, if it's a job shop and they're going to be rolling a wide range of materials, it's good for them to do it at about 2/3 capacity is what we do for stock machines, and recommend for them is that take the base capacity of the machine, let's say it's rated at 1/4 inch, then you would crown it for 2/3 that capacity. And then you can roll pretty much most of the parts that you'll get in, and then the outliers you can use shims. Crowning the rolls do not affect the machine's base capacity. It is just what it's set at to get a good part. So you can always use shims, and refer to our roll bending digest that you can find on our website, and how to roll with shims, and that can help you to adjust the crown for outline thicknesses. And the final crown question is, which rolls are crowned? So WDM plate rolls, we crown all of our plate rolls on the top and lower rolls. What size flats can be expected on a WDM plate roll? Okay, so that's a great question as well, and that depends a little bit on the series. On our initial pinch series, so the 310, the 403, and the K series, this includes the 403, which is the 4 roll, you can expect 1.5 to 2 times material thickness. So if you're rolling 1/4 inch mild steel, you can expect like 3/8 to 1/2 inch wide flats on the leading and trailing edges. However, if you have a 101 series or a pinch pyramid style, you can expect the same 1.5 to 2 times material thickness if you're rolling to a diameter that's 2 times the diameter of the top roll or smaller. So in other words, if your top roll in your pyramid is 6 inches in diameter and you're rolling a part that's 12 inches in diameter or less, you can expect that 1.5 to 2 times the material thickness. If you get larger than that, like 4 to 6 times the top roll diameter, you can expect like 2 to 6 times the material thickness for the flat, and that's because it does not bend the material until it hits the bending roll. And on a pyramid configuration with just 3 rolls and the bending roll is spread open, you insert your material, here's the top roll and it's under, it doesn't bend until it starts hitting that bending roll. And so that's why you get the large flat on the 101 series. Where on my rolls should I roll narrow strips? It's a fantastic question, and a lot of times people get it wrong, but you should always roll, with the exception of cones, in the very middle of your rolls. So sometimes when people get a narrow strip, they just take it clear to one end and roll it. However, that puts more stress on the bearings and gears being right at the end because it doesn't have the deflection of the rolls. It's right by the bearing cases there, so it's not as good for your machine. We always recommend in the middle of the rolls, and also in the very middle, the crowning is a little bit flat, so if you're rolling a narrow strip, you won't get the spiral shape you would as if you were rolling on the taper of a crown. So always roll your material in the middle of the roll, no matter the width, unless it is a cone. What are the voltage requirements of WDM machines? So another good question, and that, if you're getting a new build, we can do pretty much whatever you want. We can do 115 volt, 208, 230, 460, or 575 volt, and we can do that in either single phase or 3-phase. So that is your options. However, if you're buying a stock machine, primarily all of those are 230 or 460 volt, and they are in 3-phase. How tight should I pinch the material on my WDM plate roll? So for 403 K series and 310 series, the initial pinch line, we recommend to use the least amount of pinch required to get a good bend. So if you just want to be gripping your material there and pulling it through, we don't want too much pressure to where you start getting a canoe shape there or a barrel shape. If you use too less or too much, you can start getting canoeing or barreling. To get a good part, the least amount of pressure is required to accomplish that. What are hardened only rolls, or what is the hardened only option? So that's when we take our standard 1045 carbon steel rolls and we flame harden them to 55 to 60 RC, and that goes 1/10 of an inch deep the whole way around the rolls, and then they are straightened out within 1/100,000ths of an inch in the total run out. So now you might be asking, when do I need hardened only rolls? And we recommend that when you're rolling narrow, thick strips, if you're rolling AR plate, or if you are rolling any material that's going to have slag edges. So if you cut it out on plasma, don't clean up the edges and they get hardened. That is when we recommend you using the hardened only rolls. What are hardened and polished rolls? So same thing as the hardened only rolls. They get the standard 1045 carbon steel, flame hardened 1/10 of an inch deep, and straightened out, and then those rolls get polished to a G32 finish to polish them up. And so now you're going to be asking again, when do I need hardened and polished rolls? So we recommend you getting those for sure if you're rolling like stainless steel, if it's polished stainless steel, or aluminums. And also if you're rolling cones, because cones, the inside diameter is going to need to skid around, and we recommend polishing will help with the skidding process and keep from marring your rolls. What option do I need to roll cones? So it's a good question. You just need a cone attachment for one, a standard cone attachment for rolling occasional rolls, and if you're doing production rolling or rolling every day, you can get the heavy duty cone attachment. We also offer a pinch trim option. So if you are going to be rolling cones that are wider than half the working length of your machine, you will need a pinch trim. So if your machine is 4 foot wide and you're going to be rolling cones that are wider than 2 feet, you will also need the pinch trim option, which is available in the 403 K series. What is the difference between the standard cone attachment and the heavy duty cone attachment? So So the standard cone attachment has a stationary, non-rolling snubber that the material is going to skid along as it contacts the workpiece. The heavy-duty cone attachment is going to be a roller, and this roller will roll along the minor diameter side as you're rolling the cone, and it also has additional hardware to continue the thrust onto the frame of the machine. Can you do circular grooves? So the short answer is yes. However, please consult us first with the type of groove you're wanting to put in your roll. We can definitely machine in whatever possible. It's just we want to make sure that it doesn't hurt the integrity of the roll by cutting too deep of a groove into it. So just reach out to us, but it can probably be done if you're needing to, do a groove for a hem or a flange that you have on a plate roll. So reach out to us first with the application, but we can definitely try our best to do that for you. Can I roll angle on a plate roll? So again, the answer to that, the quick answer is yes. On the 310.5 and 310.6 line, we offer extended shafts. Basically, the shaft's going out past the frame. You can put dies on it for angle or pipe, etc. But on the standard machines like the 403, the K, and the 101 series, you cannot roll angle on those. However, we do offer a standard angle roll line, so please contact us for that if you're interested. Which controller option is best for me? So we start out, the Beta comes standard with most machines, and that's a good basic control for production and job shops that are rolling, cylinders, cones, segments, and they're rolling in batch quantities of 10 pieces or less. So it's not a bunch of repeat the same parts, but it's going to have digital readouts. However, it doesn't have any programming in it. Next, we have the pre-control, and that's going to have 2 presets saved into it, and you move the lever up and down, and it'll stop at those given presets. So that is good for speeding up performance and accuracy and repeatability, and it can be used in the manual or preset mode, and it's it can increase production by up to 500%. So it's recommended for people that are doing batch quantities between like 3 to 100 pieces at a time. Then the pre-control is a good option for you. Now the auto control is for the 403 series only, and it is a control for high volume production. Basically, the material is hand fed in and it completes all the forming functions automatically, and it has 4 modes: warm up to get the machine to operating temperature, drop in open for full cycles, drop in closed for segments, and tack mode for positioning a part to tack weld while it's still on the machine. This control can be used in manual, preset, and auto mode. It has a 6-part memory storage, and we recommend it for people that are doing 50 plus pieces at a time. When do I need the length digital readout option? So you need that when you are rolling parts with either flats or a multi-radius. So that way you can tell how far your workpiece is in, and you can get repeatability that way. If you need a flat on the leading edge that's so long, a flat on the trailing edge that's so long, or a flat in the middle, or else you change the pitch and you need a multi-radius. So that's when you're going to need a digital readout for length position, and that's going to be very handy in those applications. Do I need a starting/squaring groove? So if you have the 403 series, no groove is required on that. On the 101 series, we have 1 groove for starting on the bending roll, and it's used to square the plate when loading. On the K and 310 series, there's 1 starting groove in the pinch roll as standard for squaring your part, and then we put 1 groove in the bending roll if you get the 3rd roll drive option. Okay, well I think that concludes it for some of the common frequently asked questions. If you have any other questions that come up, please feel free to reach out, put them in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer them for you, or as always, you can come to www.wdmrolls.com and chat with us there, and we would be more than happy to help answer any questions that you may have when it comes to plate, angle, and profile rolling. So thank you guys very much for tuning in today, and I hope you guys have a great day.